So here we are, going to make the chocolate cake from Sally's Baking Addiction. I'll put a link down below. First thing is the wet ingredients. So we've got here a cup of buttermilk, 2 eggs. All these wet ingredients are at room temperature, which is important. Now we need half a cup of vegetable oil, two teaspoons of vanilla, just gonna mix this up. Now, just going to transfer the wet ingredients to a bowl. Now we're going to work on the dry ingredients. So with this, we've got about 1 3/4 cups of flour, three-quarters of a cup of unsweetened cocoa. Now this is natural cocoa, it's not the Dutch processed cocoa. We've got a fair bit of sugar here. This is 1 3/4 cup of sugar. And we've got 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And here we've got 2 teaspoons of espresso powder. This is instant espresso basically, and that adds a lot of flavor. Doesn't taste like coffee, but it certainly deepens the cake. That's optional. So we are going to whisk this together. And now we're going to add the wet ingredients in here. Gonna mix this up. Now here we've got 1 cup of hot brewed coffee. Gonna give the sides 1 scrape. I'll just finish whisking that. Okay, so that batter is smooth. Now we're going to transfer it to 2 9-inch cake pans. So these are greased, and then I put a parchment paper at the bottom and greased them again. That'll keep the cake from sticking. So we're going to split it between the 2. Normally I would just pour it freestyle, but seeing as I'm on camera, I'm going to try to be a bit more exact. So those are roughly even, and now we're going to throw those into a 350-degree oven. So cakes are out of the oven. It took about 32 minutes with my oven. And now I'm going to turn them onto a rack because they have to cool completely before frosting. So let's see how this goes. 1, 2. Turned out very easily, and now we just take off the parchment. Now we're going to let that cool. We'll make the buttercream probably in about 30 minutes as that's cooling down. Now we're going to make the buttercream. So here we've got 1 1/4 cups of unsalted butter. It's at room temperature. So we're going to throw that in. Now we're going to cream this for about 2 minutes or so. So you can see how that's pale and creamy, so that is good. Now we're going to add the dry ingredients. So this is 3 1/2 cups of confectioner sugar or icing sugar, and that's a lot of sugar, but I guess this icing is basically mostly sugar and butter. And we've got here 3/4 cup unsweetened cocoa. This one can be either natural or Dutch processed. I'm using a different cocoa for the icing than I did for the cake. This one is a Dutch processed one. We need a pinch of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon. We need 3 to 5 tablespoons of whipping cream. So I'm going to add 5 in. I shall add 4. We'll see how that does. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now we're going to do this very slowly at first so it can get incorporated. I'm going to scrape that down once. And we're just going to finish mixing that. There we go. Look at the texture of that. Now we're going to take this out and prep the cake. So now we're going to frost. So you can see that the cakes are actually pretty flat. If they weren't flat, we could have cut the top off just to make them sit a little more flat, depending how perfect we want to be. So first step is we put one of these cakes on our serving platter. And now we're going to frost the top of this. Okay, so that looks pretty even. Now I'm going to take this cake, put it top side down right on top. Now I'm going to start frosting this. So I've got sort of a crumb coat on there, thin coating over everything, and now I've got still a fair bit of icing left. So now I'm going to apply this icing to that just to thicken it up and try to smooth it out a little bit. So you see I've finished there. I'm just going to dust it with some cocoa powder. There you have it, the finished cake. Let's bring it up. Now I'm going to let this chill for about 30 minutes to set up, and then it'll be ready to slice. Okay, so now it's the moment that we've been waiting for. This has been chilling for about 45 minutes just to bring it together. And you can serve it cold or at room temperature once it's had a chance to set. So I'm just going to give it a cut here. First slice is always the hardest to get out. Got most of it there. Okay, so you can see how it's nice and even in the center, nice and dark and rich. Now we'll give it a try. Texture is great. The icing is sweet, but it's counterbalanced by the cake. The cake has that coffee in it, which gives a little bit of sort of natural bitterness. It's a delicious cake. Hope it inspires you to give it a shot. Thank you very much for watching.